Hello, my name is Preeti and I'm a knitter based in Toronto. Today I'm going to talk about all of my projects to date. This is one of my finished objects and this is the Poppy Tee by Petite Knit. So the Poppy Tee is, like I said, a tee by Petite Knit. This project is meant to be like a sport weight project. I think the one that she samples primarily is made in Cardiff cashmere, but she also can recommend that you can knit it with, say, like a fingering plus mohair combo on 3.5mm needles. Hers is a tee, but I decided to make mine a full sleeve, well, as full sleeve as I could get. So it's really not quite bracelet length, but almost. And I knit it using Drops Flora, which is a heavier fingering weight yarn, 4-ply yarn. And I held it single and I used 3.5mm needles. I really love this color. So it's like a strawberry color. And I will note that it is a discontinued color by Drops. So I think I had mentioned that I picked it up from my local yarn store and I thought, oh, I'm gonna need to buy more yarn because I used 4 balls, like I completely use them up. And then I thought, well, while I was making it, I thought I'm gonna definitely need more. But then I ended up like not really being able to find it except for this like there's one store in Quebec, but the shipping would have been a lot and I just didn't want to be unreasonable. So I just decided to see how far I could get with my 4 balls of Flora, and I got more length, longer sleeves. So it's like a really interesting construction, and I did talk about it in previous podcasts. And then you just kind of, I picked up to do the neckline on 3mm, so the body's knit in 3.5, and then all the ribbing is done on 3mm. Some things about this project, so let me show you. The arms are kind of quite deep. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not sure if you can tell, but like here's my armpit and this is like the depth. So I don't really like the depth of the armholes. It's a little too wide. So I think I think for that reason I wouldn't make it again. And I couldn't tell that was the case with this pattern until until actually I finished it, to be honest. You can't tell from her pictures that this is kind of deeper than it should be for something that's kind of a more fitted garment. So she asks you to set up the ribbing with purl stitch, and then you do the ribbing, and then you do tubular bind off. And I mentioned in my last video that my tubular bind off is quite tight, so now putting on the sweater and taking it off it's like very stiff at the bottom, so it is kind of like a bit of an uncomfortable feeling. It's not like an easy thing to put on and take off. Like, it's not a huge deal, but it is stiff, and so it's something that you notice in comparison to other clothes that you wear. I'm glad that I was able to finish the project with just 4 balls, but I was playing like a massive game of yarn chicken. So what happened was I was making up my own decrease rate. I was doing at a rate of 16 stitches before doing every decrease, and it was just looking so square and baggy. And then when I started, I thought I had enough yarn to do the next sleeve, but then it became very apparent that I didn't. So I ripped whatever I was doing for the second sleeve, and then I actually ripped out everything I did for the first sleeve, and I went back and I started doing it at a 10. Every 10 stitches, every 10 rows, I would do a decrease. And then eventually I started doing every 8 rows to do a decrease. And so then I was able to have enough yarn to finish the other sleeve. And it was just kind of this back and forth, just trying to make sure I had an equal amount of yarn for both sleeves. And I don't have like a weighing like I'm not able to weigh my yarn because I don't have the machine. I had one, but it doesn't work well. So I was basically just kind of going back and forth between sleeves to just make sure I used every last piece. And I had to make sure I had enough just to finish up the ribbing. So, you know, blocking is always so funny. When you wash an object, it grows a lot. And I had like full length sleeves when it was like pretty wet. But when it dries, it kind of dries down to shrink back up. So as you can see, it's like not quite bracelet length, but it's longer than a long sleeve. So I think it's fine. Like I really feel like this is the type of sweater you can wear just kind of as a light layering piece. And I think it would be great for our kind of weather here where, well, at least before it gets really cold. So, and you know, it could be worn in the spring, definitely. With the color, and honestly you can wear it anytime, but I'm really happy with the color that it is. I'm really happy that I made the project and I was able to get longer sleeves. I think the only thing is I just wouldn't make it again because of this like depth, armhole depth is like just too wide. So that would be my only call out on this sweater, but it's overall really nice. And I like that it's a satin sleeve, so it just kind of looks a little bit more polished and put together. So yeah, overall it's a win. So I started the Elisabeth blouse, and I also mentioned this in my fall and winter plans for the rest of the year. And this is what I have so far. Yes. It's basically like this collared blouse, and I'll talk a little bit about the construction. So it's just like if you've made the zipper sweater, it's just like that. You do the Judy's Magic cast on, and you do this length, what is it, about 4 inches? Maybe a little, yeah, maybe about 4 inches of this collared piece. And then you put some stitches aside, which are gonna form the placket that just go on both ends of the, you know, the opening of the Elisabeth blouse. And the rest of it's basically just a raglan. So I'm just working on the raglan, which is taking up quite some time, but it's really easy. I mentioned this in my fall winter plans, a little bit about this, but it's basically reminds me a lot of the construction of the zipper sweater. And it's been 2 years, so I'm sure I'm forgetting, but obviously the beginning is exactly the same. And then the raglan, like, so this is basically just a lighter, tighter version of the zipper sweater, which is fine. Like, it's just, it doesn't have a zipper and it has this beautiful collar. The one that Petite Knit makes is in Cardiff Cashmere. Yeah, she has a couple of versions. The beautiful one, the blue one that she's wearing that I'm featuring on the screen, or had, is with Cardiff Cashmere, I believe. I'm not using Cardiff Cashmere. I'm using drops. I'm using this Flora color in the dark gray, and then this mohair here. It's kind of like an ashy color, and the core of the kid's elk is striped. Hopefully you can tell. It's black and white, and so it's creating a bit of a marling effect, which you can probably see. It's just cool. It's fine. It's gonna be like a nice darker colored sweater that I can see myself wearing a lot in the fall and winter and spring. So like colors like these are so versatile, right? Like you can wear them anytime. So I'm definitely excited to have this project. Hopefully I can have it done in September. I don't know, we'll see. Because I've been passing on so many projects, I don't get very far. So anyway, That is my Elisabeth blouse. I'll tell you about the Cumulus Tee. I'm gonna keep it really short. I've been talking about it a lot for the last few videos, but here's the Cumulus Tee, also by Petite Knit. This is the O-neck version, and I'm basically done the body, more or less. And then I just need to do the sleeve, pick up for the sleeves, and then do the I-cord around the neck. And I'm using Pure Silk by Knitting for Olive, again, recycled yarn. I have to say my knitting spend this year, and I'll try to do a tally at the end of the year, is a lot lower because I'm just recycling yarn, and I bought a lot of yarn last year that I haven't been able to touch yet. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so do I want to finish this? That's the question. It's like 2 more weeks in September. September still can be a warm month, but okay, I'm not going to say that I'm definitely going to put it on hold, but it's definitely not something I pick up that much anymore. So anyway, this is it, the Cumulus Tee quick update. Okay, I'm jumping around a lot, but I'm also working on the Billie Pullover by Sari Nordland. Let me show you what I have. Here it is. The Billie Pullover is an all-over cabled sweater. It's got cables everywhere, so many cool cables, here, there, and everywhere. And then wherever there aren't cables, there's moss stitch, which is primarily underneath the arms. And I started this back in March. I decided to put it on hold. And I did talk about this in my fall knitting plans because I'm hoping that this will be a project that I finish this year in the fall winter season, which I think I will because I'm really enjoying it, having it back on the needles. Before I jump into the construction, I'll just remind you that I'm using Briggs & Little yarn in the color Fundy Fog. And yes, also recycled yarn from a previous project. So this project gave me a little bit of a hiccup. I think I messed up one of the cables, like one of these cables. I actually did it in the wrong direction, and so I ripped back and I tried to fix it, but I mean it looks less worse than it did when I first made the mistake going in the wrong way, but it's still kind of wonky looking because this doesn't really have that. But so far the honeycomb cable is going fine, and then this it just looks like a flower, like a leaf. That cable here seems to be going fine. I don't have any issues in the back with the big cable, so it's too bad that the back won't have that issue, but I think it's okay. And then the sleeves also have the the same thing going on. It just doesn't have the leaf cable, but it has the honeycomb and then the chunky cable. Oh, and then there's a raglan cable that just gets you up until you split for sleeves, which I actually did a little bit longer. I did it past slipping, joining in the round, or yeah, when you separate for sleeves. I did a little bit of this raglan a little bit longer, but I don't think you can really notice. I did try it on. I'm making this size 3 because of just being really burned by Sari Nordland projects turning out really tight. And I did try this on, and it does fit nicely. So I think it should be fine. And like I said, it's moving really fast because it's a bit of a fun knit for me. You only do the cables every 4 rows. So you either you do most of the cables every 4 rows, and then you do this chunkier one every 8 rows. But yeah, I think it'll be a really nice knit. I was thinking should I have made the Billie cardigan, because the cardigan is also really nice and I really love my cardigans. So I didn't mention this in my fall knitting plans, but maybe because I have so many ideas, maybe I'll make the Billie cardigan too. but it depends. I might be Billied out when this is done. I might be Billied out, so you never know. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Just generally, whether or not I actually wear it, I'm not totally sure. But in terms of making it, it is fun. It's just like super engaging, and yeah, it's a very super engaging project. So I highly recommend the Billie Pullover. And I'm also started the Lumme Pullover by Sari Nordland, and I'm also going to make a size 3. I just have done the collar so far. I haven't started the color work, and I talked about this in my fall knitting plans, but basically I'm following the collar for the Monday sweater, which I made last year, where she starts off with a double knit. And so, because I don't want to I think this sweater just needs to be a double knit collar for me. That's why I decided to follow that. And I think I saw somebody on Ravelry did the same. And I was like, yeah, that is a great idea. It needs to be double knit for me. And yeah, obviously I haven't gone very far, but I've heard, I think it should be like a fun project. And I know once I start color work, it should move pretty fast. I mean, it doesn't matter because I've got so many projects on the go. But I'm really excited to have the Lumme Pullover, and I'll show you the contrast color just one second. I'm going to use this color here by Cascade 220, which I used for my book club cardigan. So I have quite a bit left, but if I'm not able to get enough out of this ball of yarn, I have another dark purple yarn that I have from another sweater that I could use for like the smaller leaf motif. So yeah, I have that kind of mentally in my head prepared that if I need to, I might like use like a third color just in case it doesn't feel like this isn't enough, because it's possible, because I think she wants you to have at least one ball, and she's Cascade 220. And this is smaller than one ball. This is maybe 3/4. I can't remember anymore. A side note, I really like Cascade 220. I think now that I've used a lot of drops, and now I've used the Patton's Classic Wool Worsted, I think my favorite is the Cascade 220. That's like a really, really good yarn. And I'm talking about the non-superwash. I'm sure the superwash is good too, but it's just really soft. And the Patton's yarn is not as soft, but softer than say like Briggs & Little, and it is softer than say Drops Lima or Drops Nepal. But yeah, I think like my favorite worsted weight yarn would have to be the Cascade 220. I want to use it more. So I'm going to just have to keep my eye out for availability and for sales, although it is a very well-priced yarn. So yeah, just a side note about Cascade 220. I think that is it in terms of what I've got going on so far. I talk a lot about, I have one more thing. I do have one more thing. I don't know when this will be finished, but I'm making a baby blanket. Oh, so nice. I think it's called the Fan and Feather. It's like a fan and feather blanket. It's so, let me see if I can get you to appreciate how long this is. Oh my gosh. So I'm using Drops Charisma for this, and it's a fan and feather stitch. This is a free pattern on Ravelry that I saw somebody else make online, and it's for a friend. And I started off with the pink. She has a girl, and then I think I'm gonna switch to the green, and then I'm gonna add in some blues, so that it's, you know, not too pink, but like blues can work well for a girl. So hopefully you can see the vision. It's a bit hard to tell right now. It's so beautiful. It's gonna take me a while because I don't really work on it, but I think if I were to be dedicated to it, it would probably move really fast. And it's quite long because I'm using 4.5 millimeter needles maybe. It's gonna be a big blanket, but I think it's gonna be super beautiful. So that's a little bit about a little side project I have going on, but it's really low priority. I try to knit on it once a week, but I don't even really do that much. All right, yeah, so that's about it for my podcast. Please let me know what you're working on. Please let me know, let me know what you think. Oh, let me talk about one more thing. So I do want to give you a bit of an update about the Vivi cardigan. Just a bit of an update. I'm going to try to do a better update in about a month. Overall, yes, I'm still bummed about it. It did grow a bit. It did bloom a bit. The cables did expand a tad, but not enough. And the sleeves are definitely still too tight, so I have to fix that. So I'm thinking about fixing the sleeves in September, and then I'll try to wear it for a couple of months. And if it doesn't work out, I think I'm gonna just rip it all together and make a size 3 or size 4, because it's still just too fitted of a cardigan. And it does make me a bit sad that it didn't work out, but it's okay. It's okay because it happens. But yeah, a lot of work went into this thing, and it just didn't come out as I expected. But to be fair to the designer, sorry, Nordland, it does look a lot like, in terms of the fit, it looks like how it fits her. It is like, on her, it looks like fitted, and on me, it looks fitted, but I don't like that it's fitted. I don't think the cardigan, I just can't wear stuff underneath it, and I don't want a cardigan that hugs my body. It needs to be a little bit spacious, just a little bit more boxy. It's like that Goldilocks thing, like, whereas sometimes petite knit sweaters that are oversized are like too oversized. Sorry, Norlands are like too fitted. So I'm going to, like I said, probably just fix the sleeves and then wear it and see if it grows with wearing in terms of the body. And if it doesn't, then I'm gonna have to rip it all out. And I am committed to wanting to fix the entire thing, because I think that it's a really nice pattern. So I think it's fine. And like overall, I enjoyed the process, because that's what made me want to go back to the Billie Pullover, because it's fun to kind of do something that has different stuff going on compared to just like stockinette. Although stockinette has its time and place. So yeah, a little bummed about the Vivi cardigan, but I know that but I do have a plan in place to fix it. All right. That's everything I have to say so far. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like or subscribe if you're able to, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.